What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I just want to give you a quick rundown and install, just kind of how-to on my Ice Castle fish house or wheelhouse of one of these Chinese diesel heaters. So it's getting pretty popular with wheelhouses, skid houses, people running them in their garage, camping, you name it. These things are becoming very versatile. So I picked one of these up. As you can see, it's the Vevor brand. It's 8 kilowatt. Currently got it running right now at 5 out of 6. That's pretty high up there. Just trying to bring it up to temp in the fish house for fishing. And I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of how I install it to give you an idea for layout and how you may set this up. So this setup here that I have is essentially a kind of a fully internal system where you can see everything inside. So I kind of wanted to do that just, to try and keep things from gelling up, or the weather. I know this thing just sips fuel very slowly, so I just wanted to totally mitigate or reduce that as much as possible, the chance of it gelling up or having issues with the tank being external or the pump external or what have you. So, and I just didn't want to, or just keep it all in one contained area, so not drilling additional holes that I don't need to. But so real quick, you can see there's the 8 kilowatt furnace or heater there. I have semi-rigid duct there running up to, you can see in the fish house here. Got my traditional Suburban vented hose there, but then additionally here's the diesel heater one here. So this thing's putting out quite a bit of heat. I'll show you quickly here. It's pretty high. I got my furnace set down low just in case, or for whatever reason overnight if you wanted to have the heat on, but it keeps rising, so I'll have to turn it down here. It's about 4 degrees currently outside, 4 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, just want to give you a quick look here at how I ran it. So I just, plywood with some shelving brackets. I got the fuel line, your intake here for fresh air intake outside for the combustion piece, and then the exhaust here for combustion as well. So both of those running outside. You can see I put a little bit of a kick plate there, or stone guard plate, that matches kind of what's on the rest of the Ice Castle here, you can see. So, and just keeping, helps contain some of the insulation and the heat wrap that I had in there too. So it came with the normal heat wrap here, and additionally to that, under here I sleeved the whole thing with header wrap, you can see right there. And then I have like a ring band or a stainless steel band on the inside of the wall here to kind of keep the heat away from the insulation entirely. So it's got a void area for safety. So pardon the clicking, as you guys know with the pump here, those are kind of noisy. This is the one that came with it, the kit, so it's not probably the quietest. I actually have a new one on order and I'm just playing around with that to see if it's quieter, but it's not too bad here. You can see I have an in case here for my mini fridge, so once that's in there, you really hardly hear this thing. So let's see what else I could talk about here. So you can see I got the 10-liter tank that comes with it. So I was a little skeptical on running it from the inside, just for spilling and stuff. But you can see, I'll show you here in the front. This is the V-nose bathroom, pretty common on Ice Castles, several models or whatever. You can see this little swing door. This is how I get to it. So it's as simple as that, taking the cap off. Filling it obviously a little cautiously or carefully, but I have yet to spill it, so just got to be careful with that and go slow. The cool thing is it's clear, so you can see how full you have it, so you're not really guessing, and then all of a sudden quickly it overfills or something like that and you do spill. So not too concerned about that at this point. So we'll go back over here to the front. I'll show you outside real quick, just the common through hole fittings out here. There's a normal Suburban one here. So that's the exhaust side there. That's the intake. Just suggest keeping them a little bit apart from each other, like people have said, to keep the intake from sucking in the exhaust there. I do have a small little spout to direct this if I need to, should the wind switch, just to prevent that as well. But very quiet outside, not bad. Cool. So a couple other tips here I want to show. The installs are pretty straightforward. They're very universal and common here. I just kind of ran up here as you can see, the control module here that comes out to the front, drill the pilot hole to run the wire through. And then yeah, this just clips onto the front here. So it has a remote as well that I can control it from the back, which is kind of nice too. So a couple tips I'd maybe suggest. I was throwing an E5 error code, I think it was, which is an overheating malfunction, or overheating, basically a fail-safe or a safe catch there to, when the system gets too hot, it'll just shut down and go into like lit mode or safe mode. So common things about that is making sure when you install this, having plenty of real estate over here on the intake side for the actual, like, the heating mechanism or the heat sink here, to make sure that you have plenty of room for airflow to come in. So some folks have gotten this too close to either a wall or like other appliances or components within their installer setup. So you can see I got plenty of real estate there for airflow. Second thing was that I think I've solved it is the semi-rigid duct. The duct that it came with is only maybe 3-4 feet at most that you can use, and I had to run it, you can see, past the stove here out to this side. So that's about a 5-foot run maybe. But so I did a semi-rigid, and I'm pretty sure what caused my overheating error was I just had a slight S bend here coming off, like fresh off the exhaust or the furnace hot side there. And then you can see I've made it go back a little more straight, less of a curve. So it's really finicky with your pipe directions and layouts. Just be cautious of that when you're installing it. Try and make as minimal or like no bends as possible. I do have one little S bend up here behind the oven that I may take this out again just to try to optimize that. But I immediately noticed once I did that, the airflow and just the amount of airflow coming out here was much stronger. So you know, before it was kind of like here I'd start feeling some hot air, so it would be like a foot or two away, but now it's really blowing good. So just keep that in mind. They're probably more temperamental than other furnaces with your bends and your overall run length too. So keep that in mind. The other thing is, so like I mentioned, doing the header wrap too, that was nice just to keep the heat away from other things in here. That's one other suggestion I would say. The other thing is the clamps that they come with for the exhaust, primarily, even the intake side here. Just go to your hardware store or big box hardware store, wherever you have it, and get yourself some better clamps, because the ones that it comes with, I know other people have mentioned that too, they really are not that good. They don't hold. They do not hold at all. So get yourself some better clamps for the exhaust as well as the intake. And then even actually the hot side forced air vent too, get yourself a better one there too, which I did. So all in all, that's pretty good. I did put some electrical tape around the inside of the pump there, you can see, before going into the rubber grommet. I think that did make it a little bit quieter. Like I said, I have a different one on the way, so we'll see if it quiets down a lot. But honestly guys, it's not terribly loud, especially once I get the mini fridge put in here. You can hardly hear it. So the fan tends to the fan with this kind of tends to overpower that clicking sound anyway, so it doesn't really bother me a whole lot. But I'm gonna play around with one that's hopefully a little bit quieter, and it'd be cool if you wouldn't even hear it at all. So it'd be kind of cool. So actually, if you guys have any suggestions for any of these pumps that have maybe a better or quieter one compared to the typical one that comes with the Vevor unit or Vevor unit, drop a comment and let me know. I'd be curious to see what you guys have had success with for keeping it quiet. I've seen some people build boxes as well as insulation type things, so I may play around with that as well. But if you found some good tips for that, I'd be happy to hear about them. So anyways, just wanted to give you a rundown on Ice Castle Fish House, kind of how this one's set up. Most ice castles have, you know, plenty of space here for counter space that you could install one of these. So luckily I had 12 volt power there. I could run 110 as well with an inverter, but I had power source right here, so it's a perfect spot to put it. And I wanted to keep it vented too on the same side that my furnace vents already, just because I commonly keep that out of the wind, so I don't have to deal with you know, face winds or whatever that come in, and they can cause troubles with furnaces. So wanted to keep that on the same side, same vicinity, just for that reason, as I set up the house according to the prevailing wind commonly, so to keep the exhausts out of the headwind. So Thanks for watching, guys. Hope this video helps you get an idea how to lay this out. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them in the comments of how I set this up, or if you have any suggestions on how myself or others could set these up going forward. Be open ears to hear that. So thanks again.